Now, traditionally, summertime and the Christmas season are the biggest money makers at the box office. But this past summer was a big disappointment in box office revenues. But local theater owners are hoping that movies like Rocky IV will give them a much-needed boost.
Financially speaking, 1985 wasn't actually all that great a year for cinema. Despite breaking a record for new releases, ticket sales were down nearly 20% compared to the previous year. And lost in the shuffle were future cult classics like Real Genius, Return to Oz, and The Black Cauldron. Box office issues aside, however, the year now stands as a virtual treasure trove of 80s nostalgia.
Who are you?
An angel.
What's your name?
Satan.
We're going to take you through all of the best movie and Hollywood-related news and events of 1985, because this is Timeline Movies. And since 1985 was when Cocoon was released, we'll try to keep this from getting old. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel and let us know in the comments below about your favorite movie memories from 1985. Now, are you ready to find out what was going on in movies the year every rock star on Earth teamed up to do Live Aid?
That's a good idea.
Thanks to Star Wars and Indiana Jones, by 1985, Harrison Ford was one of the world's biggest stars. But he had yet to prove he could carry a movie that wasn't made by Lucas or Spielberg. That would all change on February 8th with the release of the crime thriller Witness, which featured Ford as a police detective who has to hide out on an Amish farm.
You have no right to keep us here.
Yes, I do. Your son's a material witness to a homicide.
Been offered a cop story or two, and to this point I've never taken one. Mostly because they're centered around violence and action. This was one where the alien Amish culture had an effect on the character and affect the way he behaved.
A hit with critics and audiences, Witness proved Ford could get the job done, even without a whip and fedora.
I have exactly 8 hours and 54 minutes to ponder the error of your ways.
A brain, a beauty, a jock, a rebel, and a recluse.
On February 15th, the world met The Breakfast Club.
I got you for the rest of your natural-born life if you don't watch your step. You want another one?
Yes.
Cut it out!
The John Hughes-directed coming-of-age film starred a group of high school students from different cliques, all thrown together at Saturday morning detention.
I don't think that any one of us really knows what the other four are doing with their character. We've been doing the whole thing in sequence, so things are gradually revealed, and then we don't have to go backwards and hide them again. I mean, once they're out, they're out.
The film was embraced by critics and audiences alike, and its success helped cement the Brat Pack as a box office force to be reckoned with. And on February 20th, director Terry Gilliam released his dystopian black comedy, Brazil.
What is Brazil?
What is Brazil?
What is Brazil?
A satire of corporate bureaucracy and technocratic surveillance states, the film follows Jonathan Pryce's Sam Lowry as he tries to locate a woman he saw in a dream.
The film originally began down Port Talbot in Wales, Steeltown, and the beach is absolutely black from coal dust. I just had this image of this guy sitting on this beach looking at the sunset with a radio and picking up strange music like Brazil's and Latin American romantic stuff. That's what the film is still about. It's about somebody trying to escape from it or thinking there's an escape.
Despite mostly positive reviews and a warm reception in Europe, however, it tanked at the US box office. Nonetheless, it has since come to be considered an influential cult classic. Australian business magnate Rupert Murdoch shocked Hollywood on March 20th by agreeing to acquire 50% of 20th Century Fox from oilman Marvin Davis. Murdoch's News Corporation would pay $250 million for the acquisition, which Murdoch, at the time, called a significant investment. Murdoch would retain ownership of 20th Century Fox for 32 years. On December 14, 2017, he would once again shock Hollywood by announcing he was selling the studio and its considerable library of films and properties, which included franchises like X-Men and Avatar, to Disney.
A year ago, I didn't see this one coming either, nor did I see it coming 6 months ago.
The sale included some Fox television channels and even a 30% stake in Hulu. But of course, old Rupert held on to some of the company's assets, including Fox News. March 25th brought the 57th Academy Awards, hosted by actor Jack Lemmon.
Hey, you see these? They're the hottest tickets in this town. It's for the Academy Awards, and people will do anything to get one of these, even become a movie star. But you don't need one. You're with me. So so come on.
Winners on the night included Best Supporting Actor Hang Asnor for The Killing Fields, Best Supporting Actress Peggy Ashcroft for A Passage to India, and Best Actress Sally Field for Places in the Heart.
I can't deny the fact that you like me. Right now, you like me.
The big winner was
Amadeus,
which took home Best Actor for F. Murray Abraham, Best Director for Milos Forman, and Best Picture.
9 years ago, Audrey Hepburn gave us Oscars for Cuckoo's Nest, and tonight, Sir Laurence Olivier for Amadeus. What a wonderful and rewarding profession for a movie fan.
The Entertainment, one of the famous Topper series of sophisticated comedies out of the Hal Roach Studios. Colorization brings these comedies to life for today's color-oriented audiences.
The 1937 comedy Topper starred Cary Grant and told the story of a stuffy guy being haunted by the ghosts of a fun-loving married couple.
Hey, if I'm in the way, you folks can leave.
Oh, not at all.
Mighty nice of you to let me stay around.
Hey, what's biting you? You're not getting jealous, are you?
No, just getting careful.
It was a hit when it was originally released, and since it was 1937, it was in black and white. But on May 15th, 1985, Topper became the first movie to be digitally colorized.
Colorization, the newest technology in entertainment at work right now. The simplest description, black and white motion picture and television film is converted to the finest quality color videotape by these men and women working with modern computer technology.
The project was treated as a triumph by producers, but the public wasn't as high on the idea of colorizing old films, and the process was largely dismissed as an annoying novelty. A View to a Kill was the 14th James Bond movie, and it dropped on May 22nd. The film found Roger Moore's 007 squaring off with industrialist Max Zorin, played by Christopher Walken, as he tried to destroy Silicon Valley.
So, does anybody else want to drop out?
It was a commercial success, despite harsh reviews, including one by Moore himself, who described himself as horrified by its violence, adding, "That wasn't Bond." That may be why, on December 3rd, Moore turned in his license to kill and retired from the role.
If you weren't an actor, what would you want to do?
I would love to be able to sing. I really would. It'd be wonderful.
Great in the
But
shower.
I don't think I would be very good as Bond, being Mario Lando.
It's happening.
If you're wondering who would win in a fight between James Bond and Rambo, the answer is Rambo. You can tell that because Rambo First Blood Part 2 opened the same day as A View to a Kill, and it was the former that won the weekend. With a screenplay co-written by James Cameron, the sequel to 1982's First Blood found Rambo going back to Vietnam to rescue American POWs.
Survive a war, you gotta become war.
Because you like to fight?
I'm expendable.
A monster hit, it would finish as the year's second highest grossing picture and turn its hero into a staple of pop culture for decades to come.
I hope to establish a character that can represent a certain section of the American consciousness and through the entertainment also be educational.
What is this man's name?
My name is Igor Stravinsky.
Hi there, I'm Harry S. Truman.
I'm Don Corleone.
They call him Fletch.
If you've ever been tempted to put your entire vacation on Mr. Underhill's American Express card, then you saw Fletch, released May 31st. Based on the novel by Gregory MacDonald, the film played more as a vehicle for Chevy Chase, who spends the runtime in wacky disguises.
You know, if I did some sit-ups in the morning or bent over like this, I'd probably feel 100% Moon River. Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
While also delivering what is arguably the best performance of his career. Although it finished second to Rambo in its opening weekend, it was a box office hit, spawning the 1989 sequel Fletch Lives and the 2022 reboot Confess, Fletch, which featured John Hamm in the title role. The Richard Donner-directed, Steven Spielberg-produced comedy adventure The Goonies opened on June 7th.
Besides, we gotta get to the police.
Maybe Chunk already got to the police.
Maybe Chunk is dead.
Goonies never say die.
The movie, which starred Sean Astin, Josh Brolin, Corey Feldman, Ke Huy Quan, Martha Plimpton, Cary Green, and Jeff Cohen, found a group of teenagers looking for pirate treasure in an attempt to save their homes from being demolished.
I never let the kids see this boat. They were banned from the stage. They were supposed to come out of the chute, hit the water, and turn around and see the boat for the first time. They all knew what they were going to see, but they had no idea what it was going to look like.
Now considered an essential 80s classic, it opened to positive reviews, but like Fletch and Bond, failed to dethrone Rambo from the #1 spot at the box office.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
Back to the Future starred Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly, a California teen sent back in time by his mad scientist buddy, Emmett Doc Brown, played by Christopher Lloyd.
Whoa, Doc, stuck here. I can't be stuck here. I got a life in 1985.
Directed by Robert Zemeckis and produced by Steven Spielberg, the movie became a cultural phenomenon, made icons out of its cast, and even made the largely forgotten DeLorean automobile seem cool again. Perhaps more impressively, it would trounce Rambo at the box office.
You know that new sound you're looking for? Well, listen to this!
Finishing as 1985's highest-grossing film, while spawning 2 hit sequels, an animated cartoon, and a musical stage adaptation.
He'll do.
On July 10th, audiences got to see Mel Gibson's final outing as Mad Max Rockatansky in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. The threequel found Max forced to fight in the titular arena at the behest of Tina Turner's evil anti-entity.
2 men enter, 1 man leave! 2 men enter, 1 man leave!
We had a deal, and the law says, bust the deal, face the wheel.
Due, however, to his grief over the death of series producer Byron Kennedy, director George Miller partnered with director George Ogilvy to complete the film, which ultimately divided critics and audiences. It was less successful than the previous 2 Max films, but the concept of the Thunderdome has since become a staple of pop culture.
But she's beyond Thunderdome. Welcome to the Thunderdome.
July 12th saw the release of the sci-fi adventure Explorers. According to director Joe Dante, the film, which followed 2 teenage boys from Maryland constructing a spaceship from plans sent to one of them in his dreams by an unknown force, was rushed through production and released in an unfinished state. Predictably, it was a box office flop.
It's the aliens that let us down in this movie, because when we finally see them, they look like dumb little animated creatures. They're not much better than Mickey Mouse here.
But has since come to be regarded as a cult classic, largely because the 2 teenage boys at the heart of the story were played by Ethan Hawke and River Phoenix, both in their film debuts.
So Explorers has a terrific beginning and a really dumb ending. I can only give this movie 2 stars.
Actor Rock Hudson dead, his year-long battle with AIDS at an end. He was 59.
On July 25th, actor Rock Hudson released a statement to the press announcing that he had AIDS. The announcement made Hudson, a popular leading man of the 1950s and 60s with over 60 film credits to his name, the first major celebrity to admit having contracted the condition. His death on October 7th, 1985, is now widely credited with bringing the epidemic to the forefront of world news. And on August 9th, America began an epic journey to the basement of the Alamo with the release of Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Eddie Murphy!
You're the love of my life.
Mr. T!
Beautiful jacket. Who shot the couch?
The fat boys are back. I don't see enough bow ties around here. I think anybody not wearing one should be thrown out of here right now.
The movie found its title character, played by Paul Rubens, hitting the road in search of his stolen bicycle and encountering a bizarre cast of characters and situations along the way.
And when they finally pulled the driver's body, it looked like this.
The directorial debut of Tim Burton, it was a hit with critics and audiences, making an icon out of Pee-wee and spawning 2 sequels, as well as the hit television show Pee-wee's Playhouse.
You are practically the first person I ever worked with in Hollywood. You kind of, I owe this whole film to you, really.
Well, really, you know what's happening is I'm starting to talk like you now.
This is your father speaking. Now, open this door right this minute.
You asked for it.
An explanation is probably long overdue.
The producers of the supernatural coming-of-age comedy Teen Wolf held its release until August 23rd in an attempt to ride the coattails of Back to the Future, which also starred Michael J. Fox.
Listen, no ID, no goddamn beer. Can't you get that through your thick skull? Give me a keg of beer.
And that plan worked like a charm. The story of a high school basketball player who discovers he's a werewolf became a box office smash, debuting at number 2 in its opening weekend, right behind, you guessed it, Back to the Future. That success led to a sequel, an animated cartoon, and a live-action television reboot that lasted for 6 seasons. Orson Welles is considered one of the most influential filmmakers in history and was the director of Citizen Kane, widely considered the single greatest movie ever made. Sadly, on the morning of October 10th, Welles died of a heart attack at his Los Angeles home. According to longtime friend and collaborator Joseph Cotton, Wells wanted to be buried in Spain. His body, however, was ultimately cremated, and in 1987, his ashes were buried in a well at the home of his old friend, bullfighter Antonio Ordóñez. Blockbuster Video is the best-known video rental chain of all time, and it got its start when the first location opened in Dallas, Texas on October 19th.
Nobody has the movie I want. Hey, if it's on video, Blockbuster probably has it. I mean, we have over 10,000 videos. Wow.
The first Blockbuster stocked 8,000 VHS tapes and 2,000 Betamax tapes, which is pretty incredible considering Netflix only offers subscribers access to roughly 3,600 movies and 1,800 television shows. Blockbuster became a cultural phenomenon of the 80s and 90s. But thanks to the rise of streaming, it eventually went defunct, closing its last corporate-owned store in 2014. Most people think that Jim Carrey started his career on the TV sketch show In Living Color. But in reality, Carrey was a movie star first. In fact, the man who would be the Grinch got his first starring role in the teen horror comedy Once Bitten, released November 15th. Carrey plays a naive California teen who gets seduced and bitten by a sexy blonde vampire.
I don't believe it. It finally happened. Did I enjoy it?
Despite lackluster reviews, the now largely forgotten flick was a moderate success at the box office. Even so, it failed to make Carrey into a household name.
That might be a bummer, but oh, there's my name. Jim Carrey. It's spelt right, too.
It would be another 9 years before Carrey was given the chance to headline another movie. And this time, he would make it count. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, was released February 4th, 1994. And like Carrey's earlier starring vehicle, it would be met by harsh reviews. But thanks to Carrey's over-the-top wackiness and quotable catchphrases,
Alrighty then.
the film blew up at the box office, spawning a sequel, a Saturday morning cartoon, and a made-for-TV sequel about Ace Jr. In 1985, the Cold War was still going strong.
I must break you.
And there was only one way to settle it, in the boxing ring. At least, that was the implication of Rocky IV, released November 27th. The film found Rocky Balboa avenging the death of Apollo Creed by agreeing to fight the terrifying Soviet boxer Ivan Drago. And it ended with the people of Russia cheering for the titular hero. Its comic book-like sensibilities, however, won over audiences. And the movie finished as 1985's third highest grosser, right behind Rambo. So yeah, it was a very good year for Stallone. Based on the board game of the same name, Clue hit theaters on December 13th. The black comedy had an all-star cast that included Madeline Kahn, Christopher Lloyd, Michael McKean, and Tim Curry.
Ladies and gentlemen, you all have one thing in common. You're all being blackmailed.
But nonetheless bombed at the box office. That may be because audiences weren't all that excited for a movie based on a board game.
Flames. Flames. On the side of my face. Breathing. Breath.
Or they may have resented the fact that the movie had 3 different endings, and to see them all, you had to pay to see the movie 3 times. Either way, it wouldn't truly find its audience until its home video release.
I am your singing telegram.
December 4th saw the release of Young Sherlock Holmes, a mystery adventure directed by Barry Levinson and produced by Steven Spielberg. The movie garnered mostly positive reviews, but floundered at the box office. If you did happen to catch it, though, you probably walked out of the theater amazed by a special effect that depicted a knight made of stained glass leaping out of a stained glass window. Created by Industrial Light and Magic and John Lasseter, that knight is now considered the first photorealistic CGI character to ever appear in a movie.
Pieces of glass, instead of being order of an inch or 3, they were an inch thick, so they were heavy. Hopefully it'll be powerful enough and strong enough when the audience sees it that they'll be wowed.
Finally, Jackie Chan's Police Story, which followed a Hong Kong cop who has to clear his name of murder and arrest the drug dealer who framed him, hit theaters on December 14th. The movie, in which Chan performs an eye-popping stunt where he leaps from a mall balcony, was a hit in Asia and Europe, spawning 4 sequels and a reboot. It is now widely considered one of the best martial arts films of all time. So what do you think? What was your fondest movie memory of 1985? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, check out some of these other timeline videos.